Greetings YouTube, Fuzzfinger here, welcome back to Star Ocean. And we're going to continue on today, making our way through the massive dungeon that is the Cardianon Mothership. And in particular, today we're going to be heading through the control tower area. And perhaps arguably the most annoying of all of the dungeon areas that we've come to so far. Now the reason for that is this particular part of the dungeon has... It looks fairly simple, the path through to where you want to go, such as to the treasure chests or to the exits. But as you're about to see, you are actually blocked by these barriers here. Now some of these barriers, such as this one, can be passed through because they go off long enough for you to do so. But unfortunately many others can't. For example, this one is impossible to get through. They basically have to switch off for a number of seconds so you can walk through. And this one doesn't switch off long enough. So a number of these barriers you cannot go through and a number you can. So you need to follow my path exactly in order to get all the treasures in this particular dungeon. So starting from the save point, we started by going north and then took the exit on the left, which is where we are now. We're going to turn around here and go south through this particular barrier. And I'm just going to make sure that we've still got the skill active. By the way, the stealth skill will wear off after a minute or so, but if you can recast it before it wears off, then one thing you're going to find, which is really helpful actually, is that you don't have to go through the casting animation again. So we're going to head through the left passage once more. And hopefully we can go down here. No, we need to go up. Okay, it's through this one we go through. Okay, and left here. So just follow this path and you'll be fine. These barriers are fixed for every game. Let's just speed through there if we can. Right, where am I? Just need to get my own bearings. Okay, so we need to go over to the right here because we do want to grab the treasure chest. And through here. And this brings us to our first chest. For the skill manual energy shield, which I believe is something useful you're going to give to Remy. So now we're going to make our way across. If you do hit a barrier, by the way, then you'll take 1% of damage. 1% of your maximum health in damage. So it's not the end of the world, but obviously it's something you would like to try and avoid if possible. Also, it looks like our thing is just wearing off there. Our stealth. There we go, we'll pop that back on. And then we're going to take this exit over here. I'll show you where we are on the map. So we collected that treasure chest down south. And we're going to take this exit. This is an optional exit for now. But what it will allow us to do, and there's no enemies in this section by the way, is just grab an extra 2 chests. And there's no better opportunity to come and get these chests than at this particular point. So I do highly recommend you do so. There's a chest just over here. As I said, no enemies. The sturdy bracelet is a pretty decent defense bracelet. So you might want to give that to somebody such as FaZe, for example. And then over here on the other side, we have another chest with some poison ciders. Right, so that's what we needed to come down this exit for. We're just going to make our way back through to the previous floor. And again, you're going to want to follow my path exactly on this next floor now, so that we can get the last 2 chests in this area, as well as making our way over to the exit. So we're going to start by just swinging around here. And going around this side. I'll show you where I am on the map. It's important to just keep tabs on where I'm going. So let's go ahead and just recast the skill. Of course you don't have to cast stealth. You can fight your way through. So we're going to go through this passageway. And we're just basically making our way now up to this chest in the top corner. Right, so let's keep moving. So the chest is just over here. Okay, streaked chainmail is a nice chest item, I believe, for Remy as well. So we'll go ahead and equip that now. Look at that nice defense boost. And now we're going to make our way over to the final chest up north. And it's easy to get there actually. We just follow the path round. Just be careful, it is next to a red barrier. So we'll wait for that to go and then we'll pass through. And that's the last barrier we need to go through on this floor. So we'll just follow the path round. And you can see there's a vending machine, so you can stock up on items if need be. And then when you're ready to move on, just take the exit. And this will bring us through to the next floor, which continues the trend of having to pass through red barriers. Unfortunately, this one's made even more annoying in that you cannot see the red barriers by default. You can only see them once you've activated the mist in the area where they're located. And to do that, you'll need to use a charge of the Thunder Ring. So we'll use the first mist activator, I guess we can call it, just there. Let's just make sure we're not going to run out of stealth anytime soon. Okay, and now we're going to go through the first red barrier, but we can't go through the second, so we need to take the doorway to the side. We'll come back for that chest in due course. Even with stealth, it can be quite tricky to avoid the enemies here because of how narrow the corridors are and how wide some of the enemies are. So we make our way through to the second inner ring from the entrance there, and we're just going to follow the path along to the first chest. So there we go. 3 element breakers, and there is actually a barrier just in front of us, so don't walk through there. Instead we're going to head back and try and avoid some of the enemy encounters around here, which can be easier said than done, as I said. And we're just going to squeeze through up here, but before we do that, let's see if we can activate the mist. Although I think there's a barrier just before it as well, which makes things a little trickier. Nope, but there is an enemy encounter. So we use the Thunder Ring. Even if it's not going to help us too much, it's nice just to get the party skill points, quite frankly. So now we're going to head into this area, back onto the outer ring this is, where our next chest will lie in wait for us. And the booster wand is going to be a very nice wand for Limos. We're going to equip that immediately. We'll give some nice boosts, look at that, to attack and int. So her spells will be doing a lot more damage now. And there's another mist engager here, along with a barrier that we can't see. Okay, so there's still one more chest that we want to grab before we leave this area. So we'll start by making our way around here. And then down this next passageway. If we head straight across, we can go to the exit. But like I say, we do want to grab that chest, really. So there is another barrier here we want to avoid. There it is. And now we should have a clear path, minus enemies, of course, through to the chest that we want to get. Just going to go ahead and re-equip the stealth. And just follow the path round back to the outer ring from here. And this is the chest that we couldn't see earlier on. Or rather, we couldn't get earlier on, I should say. But now we can. It's not fair how the enemies can just run through, is it? Those red barriers, but we can't. They don't get stunned. And that's it. Now we just need to make our way back. So just keep checking your map. There is a barrier just a little bit further up. In fact, we can go and use this device here. Although I don't think it's going to help us, but at least it's going to give us some skill points. So we're just going to follow this back round. Right, here's the barrier. And we can see it, so that's fine. I still ran into it though. And back into the outer ring. And straight to the exit, in theory. Just before we go to the next floor, I'm going to learn those couple of skill manuals we've just picked up. In particular, Energy Shield, which we're going to give to Amy. And the other one we just got was the Stun manual. Now, you can either give this... Well, you can give it to multiple characters, but I would prioritise Edge. But if it doesn't have a free battle skill slot, then give it to FaZe for the time being, or wait until you get somebody else later. But I've got a spare battle skill slot on Edge, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. So he's already got the HP boost. We're going to give him the stun, which occasionally adds a stun effect when attacking enemies. And of course, at high skill levels, the chance of stunning successfully increases. So we will set that as a battle skill. And then we're going to go ahead and give the energy shield to Raimi. So a couple more skills for us to start leveling up. So I'll have to start farming for skill points again soon. Wait for the barrier to drop, and through we go. And welcome to the next floor, and you can already see on the map, there's a beautiful recovery sphere up ahead. So the path to the recovery sphere is fairly straightforward. There's actually no red barriers that are going to interrupt our way. There's also a new enemy type, I believe, called Dragon Warrior or something. They're really quite massive, and they have about 10,000 health points on standard Galaxy mode. So just something to be aware of. But you should be able to handle them quite easily. And we don't want to go through there. Instead, just swing around here. And there's the recovery sphere. So you can obviously farm, but we're going to make our way to the save point before I do any farming. So we'll use the Thunder Ring. But we are going to get the treasure chests as well, of course. And then everything's done. Apart from doing any farming that we may wish to do. So the chest up here that we just saw is one we can access immediately as well. So we get another bunch of compact poison bombs for our trouble there. And we need to take the exit at this point here. And we'll go ahead and activate the mist with the Thunder Ring. Okay, and now we're going to head north and through the barrier here. And north again. And there's another chest we can grab if we just make our way up here and around. There's no barriers either, but we'll go ahead and activate the thingy here. Again for the party skill points. There's the chest. A power bracelet. Okay. So we are just going to continue going around and collecting the other chests here. If we just try and avoid the enemy. Help if we just keep the skill. Stealth activated.
Stealth activated.
Indeed. So back through this path, and this time we're going to go around towards the south, and here's that new dragon enemy I told you about, very difficult to avoid.
Come on, now's our chance. Take it.
So just spam your abilities on them. And you can use Edge as well, if you can get some good combos going off with him to keep him in the air. But as you can see, not a big deal really.
I could have done this all by myself.
This body of mine would still seem to have hidden potential.
So it's the Dragon General. What did I call it? Dragon Warrior, wasn't it? The Dragon General is the new enemy. Okay, so we can go now to get the chest in the middle here. And this is a firing blocked chest. But I'm just going to go ahead and turn on our skill once more. So that book that we just looted, that skill manual, is Mind Flare. And we'll be able to get as many of these as we want later on. But for this first one, I highly recommend giving it to Limmel, since what it's going to do is boost the power of her symbols, in particular her symbols that involve Cerberus. So it's very important to give her that if you want to boost that power of Cerberus. As you can see, there is just one more chest that we need to go and pick off. So we'll go and do that next. And we'll just head through the barrier here. And this chest can be a little bit annoying because it's located right next to another barrier, actually. Oh, I managed to get through it. Sylvance is our reward for that. So a very nice sword there for Edge. We'll go ahead and equip that immediately for that huge power boost. Okay, and now all that's left to do really is to make our way over to the next level. The next floor, whatever it is you want to call it, that's what we need to do. So we'll just keep moving. And try and avoid the last red barrier is what I was just going to say, but I failed. And we'll head upstairs. And this is the third floor now. So this floor is hopefully not going to give us too much trouble. We're going to start by heading over to the west. And trying to avoid some of the enemies as we go here, for the sake of time. So we've got a treasure chest just over here, along with a whole bunch of enemies that are stopping us from moving. There we go. Oh, you having a laugh? Obviously not. Okay, so this is the only one on the floor, I believe. So we'll get our skill points for it. Oh, a level up. Very nice. And we'll grab the first chest. Another skill manual. Wonderful stuff. So we're going to make our way back now to the central reservation. Well, we haven't actually been there yet, but we're going there for the first time. And fortunately, we can actually access everything really easy now because we're lower than the barriers themselves, as you can see. So we can just make our way nicely across to these other chests. So let's start with the first one over on the east. We'll head up. Let me just see where this is. Okay, so we need to head up on this side. Although they do go off anyway. Just try and avoid that. And we're just a little bit further south. There it is. Okay, some nice armour, and it's the same again. Except this time we're going over to the west. So literally we want to make our way back over to that central reservation. We're going to be running in the opposite direction this time. Make our way down, down, down. Thank you. And under the red barriers, over to the other side, and back up again. And this time we want to just try and stay over to the side there. And to the side here. And there's the chest, and the final chest of the area. And that's it, guys. Now we can actually finally make our way up to the next floor where there's a beautiful save point. So that we can save our progress, and then if we want to, we can do some grinding, which I will need to do because there's quite a few skills for us to learn. Now that we've learned some skill manuals, got a new character, etc, etc. So we'll head north here. Oh, no, going back the wrong way. That'll take us back to the floor that we've already been on. We need to actually go south. So we'll just stay on the lower floor here. And there we go. There's the south exit. Right, so a heck of a lot of text dialogue there, but some important information. Some backstory on Barkus and how he knows about Edge's, well, his brother and stuff. But also some information on a future location as well. But for now, we're going to take the opportunity to use the save point. Don't go through those doors until you're ready. There is a boss fight lying just ahead. And that will bring us to the end of this lengthy dungeon here in the Cardianon Mothership. But that's it for me for today, folks. So thanks for stopping by. I hope this little walkthrough has been helpful to you in navigating this fairly complex area in order to get all the treasure chests and all the optional stuff, as well as the exits, of course. But thanks for stopping by today, guys. I'll see you next time.